All right, 99.9 Punk World Radio FM. You guys already know what time it is. And right here, right now, we are joined by two members of the incredible group Something Bitter. We have Jim and Russ. They are live on Facebook, YouTube, and of course, our radio station, Airwaves. How are you guys doing this evening?
Doing well.
Yeah, doing great, man. Thanks for having us.
Hey, you are most certainly welcome, guys. I ended up discovering your music on Instagram, and I absolutely fell in love with your guys' craft, man. You guys have such amazing music, and I'm actually blessed to be able to speak with both of you guys to help put your amazing music on a pedestal this evening.
I appreciate
Well, thank you. I mean, we're kind of like nobodies, so this is great.
Hey, well, you know what? Hopefully, after this interview, you actually gain more recognition, man, because at the end of the day, independent music is exactly where it's at, especially within the punk rock community, man. Mainstream's great, but you find some really, really great music when you actually have your ear to the independent circuit.
Oh, dude, 100%, man. The bands that come out now are all just ridiculously talented. Like 100%. We got an absolute embarrassment of riches right now.
Yeah.
Punk rock.
Especially as well nowadays with how the music industry is, there's really not a lot of big labels anymore really doing stuff like they used to do in the 90s. So a lot of bands are kind of just going independent anyways, because now you can have the studio in your own house and make music while you're on the road in the tour bus. Back in the day, you didn't really have that luxury of doing that. So now I realize a lot of great bands like yourselves are just keeping it independent. That way you keep 100% of your assets. And of course, you don't have a record label telling you how to dress and how to act.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. I mean, like, you can see Russ's background there. Like, we do all the recording in his bedroom pretty much.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's like drums in this little room.
Exactly, yeah. So it's definitely lowered the barrier to entry, I think. But, like, you're right. I mean, it's also kind of changed it in the way that you just don't have those big record deals anymore. So bands are kind of, like, forced to be independent, which is a good thing in a way, I guess. So
it's also nice that that you're seeing less bands come through that have commercial success as the reason why they're doing it. So most of the time you see bands come through that are in it because they want to make this. They want to be in this, in this little community, in this life, and so it's nice to not see so many, Warped Tour bands. But yeah.
And also, guys, taking you back to the beginning of Something Bitter, I have to ask, because obviously, like I mentioned, you guys have amazing chemistry on your guys' projects. Your music is absolutely phenomenal, but what is the actual story behind your guys' band? Like, how did you guys actually get connected with the other two members and go on to form Something Bitter?
You want to take this, Russ?
Yeah, sure. So I moved to New York in 2016 and was kind of bouncing in a few different bands, and just before COVID hit, I wanted to kind of start up something that was more this kind of music, something that's closer to something I was missing in my life, I guess. So I guess I read about when COVID kicked off, I put out something on Craigslist, and hoping COVID was a 6-month thing and we could get back to being in a band. But yeah, Jim answered the Craigslist ad. We met for beers, talked about what we wanted. It pretty on point. About a year later, we started playing together.
So immediately went on hiatus because we couldn't book a practice room. We couldn't meet up. We couldn't. Yeah, it was lockdown, right? Everything was shut down. So, but yeah, and then Russ's friend Anthony from his hometown in Boise moved out to New York. He joined us on drums, and that kind of like put the kernel together. And then Alan, our guitarist, through another Craigslist ad. He's from Galway originally, but moved to New York fairly recently, joined a few months later. So we're kind of the perfect New York band where no one's actually from New York.
Yeah. Yeah.
I actually heard from a lot of bands actually as well that they actually met their members through Craigslist. It's just like you guys have. And the one thing, obviously, like I grew up in the era of being on Craigslist, and you find some very interesting characters, to say the least, actually on that site. Did you guys actually run into any whack jobs, as they say, or did you guys just find each other actually perfectly smooth sailing?
I think whack jobs. We found a lot of time wasters.
The
main thing. That's the kind of thing. Like with Craigslist, you're right. Like you get some creepy guys who wear like human skin for suits and stuff on there. So hence why we kind of meet for beers first to make sure that you're not crazy. And then everything's fine. But yeah,
mostly
I mean,
it's just not artistic fits really. It's just it's like a plinko, the ball that just bounces down the pins as it goes down. You just hope that one of them lands right in the avenue that you're in and where you want to be, and just keep playing until you find somebody.
it is one of those weird things. Like, 'cause I don't know anybody who uses Craigslist anymore apart from finding band members. Like, and like loads of bands do it. Like Celebration Summer started on Craigslist, and a few others as well, like us. So
Yeah,
it's basically that's the only reason. Yeah.
And also on September 16th of 2022, you guys actually released the amazing 6-track EP album titled It Doesn't Have to Be Now. I was wondering if you can actually tell us a bit more about this album. And of course, do you guys actually have any hard copies of this particular album to be purchased? Or of course, where can we actually stream it as well today?
Yeah, we didn't know quite what we wanted to sound like yet. We were kind of playing around. That EP has a few different sounds to it, I guess. Some of it's a little more pop punk, and some of it's a little more orgacore. Is that what they call it? The beard punk stuff,
right?
So we were still kind of trying to find ourselves, but at that point we'd gotten enough songs to basically do a set. 8-9 songs, and then we picked the 5 or 6. Was it 6 on that one?
6
the 5 or 6 that we were able to do quite comfortably, and just not much thought into are these the right. It was just like, this is all we got right now. Let's put it on something and hope it sticks. But yeah, we do have CDs. It's one that we've been shopping around, potentially putting it on a 7-inch or something to that effect. But as of right now, it's just CDs. I mean, you can go to our Bandcamp, you can go to Spotify. Yeah, I mean, we're pretty much anywhere that you'd find any other band.
Yeah, and that was a fun one to record as well. Like it was kind of, I guess we kind of been a full band for like 5 or 6 months at that point, but it was kind of one of those things that when you record an album, you really start to kind of figure out what your skill level is and your sort of compatibility, and like kind of like working through those songs, which we all did in that room Russ is in right now during last summer, which was ridiculously
Yeah, that
hot.
was beneficial.
Yeah. So there's a lot of sort of doing a vocal tape, then sort of standing outside the room to get some fresh air, then going back into it and sort of kind of forges you in sweat and grits as brothers along the way. But it's it's an interesting album. It's like us kind of just, I guess, kind of experimenting with all different influences and then sort of just landing on that through put sort of a little bit later on.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's one thing I really loved about this project, guys, is how you actually mentioned how you have a whole bunch of different influences. And you can tell that these influences actually seeped through your guys' music, because every song is different, but they're different in a great way.
Thanks,
well, thank you.
Appreciate it. Yeah, we're all from like quite different, I guess, I'm trying not to sound like an asshole, like punk traditions, like punk scenes, I guess is kind of the best way to describe it. So like, Alan is from a very sort of pop punk kind of background. I grew up in London and in the UK, so I'm from more of a kind of a traditional street punk kind of environment. And then, Russ
I
and everyone
stole
else.
a Dead Kennedys CD from my oldest brother, and then stole an Offspring CD, and bought a Bad Religion CD, and that was it for me.
Oh God, you're way more punk rock than me. Man. Way more punk rock.
That was it.
I think we all started on Smash, right? I mean, that's basically it. We go from there.
I stole Ignition from my brother.
Ignition. Oh man,
Yeah.
even older. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, 1 point to you, sir. That's good.
And then I stole Plastic Surgery Disasters, that Dead Kennedy record.
Yeah.
That's an amazing record.
That's
but yeah. Then bought. I don't remember what Bad Religion. I it must have been No Control. I don't remember exactly which Bad Religion record I bought, but it was. Yeah, that was it for me.
That's it. And I think that all comes through. Like, I mean, also musically, Anthony actually studied music at college, so he's way better than all of us.
He's
Russ
the
just
one
kind of picks
musician.
it up. Russ is an amazing guitarist, and it's an interesting sort of push and pull between sort of me and Alan are going, let's put a chorus here, and then Russ going, let's do it in 6/8 time. Sort of like going from there.
Yeah.
It's a lot of different influences, a lot of fun.
And also, as you actually said, all 4 of you members are not from New York. You're from different areas within the globe. So when you guys actually perform out there in New York, how do the fans actually perceive your guys' music if it is their first time hearing you guys? Because obviously, I've never been to New York, but I've heard stories that New Yorkers sometimes can be kind of harsh to anybody on stage. So like, how do they actually perceive your guys' music?
I don't think that happens in our scene that much. Like the kind of punk we play, it's a pretty supportive, like sort of scene, pretty good crowd, and mostly because it's like 99% other bands who comes to the shows rather than sort of people.
And even the paying people who come to the show who aren't playing the show, they're in bands.
Yeah, exactly.
They all know how this works. So it's we're fortunate in that way. There is like a just a straightforward honesty in the feedback you get. It like no one's ever gonna beat around the bush or try to blow smoke. They're just gonna tell you. And I appreciate that here. I like coming from Boise that you could suck for 10 years and never know. And so like I really like that you get instant feedback and oftentimes it's, oh shit, okay, yeah, I guess I need to go back and work on my picking technique, or I got to make sure that I got to get that hook to land a little better. But yeah, it's.
I do also like the first time when we're on stage though, when we're talking and like Russ has a kind of traditional American accent, and then I've got a pretty thick like UK accent, and then Alan's got this broad Irish brogue. So if we start talking, you can always notice some of the crowd just going, "Something's not right here. Something's not right. What's not fitting?" That's it.
We all just say Phoenix.
Exactly, yeah.
No one knows the Phoenix accent, so they don't question. Okay, I guess that's what Phoenix.
Yeah. That's it.
And also on March 24th of 2023, so just weeks ago, you guys actually released the amazing single titled The Black Mill. I was wondering if you can actually tell us a bit more about this particular single, and of course, where can we actually buy or stream ourselves a copy of it today?
Yeah, you can stream it for free anywhere that streams music. So The Black Mill, the name comes from a Terry Pratchett interview where he talks about kind of his battle with Alzheimer's and all the rest of it, and he described the process of sort of life stuff going into what he calls the black mill and being churned out as something creative, which I thought was quite cool. And then musically, that was like one of the few, probably the only song we've ever done that actually arrived pretty much fully formed, right?
Yeah, it was pretty close. It just kind of snapped in. Alan wrote a lot of the arrangement work in that one, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, pretty much all of it. Yeah,
and and then the lyrics are kind of from the perspective of a loved one who has to watch someone with her. So it's the story of watching a loved one go from Alzheimer's or go from a degenerative disease of one sort or another. In my case, it was alcoholism. It was you just watch someone go, and it's sad because it's it's something that you can't control, but you still curse the gods that something like this could happen to somebody. Both witnessing that and being coming to it yourself. But, it's definitely a darker tone in that message, but
it's kind of like a trend of all of our songs lyrically, right? They're very rarely about like us or stuff that happens to us. It's more kind of observational about other people and kind of what they're going through in their lives.
Yeah, and we tie ourselves into it however we can, much like you would a film or a TV show or something, and find a common thread within you that resonates with it and write to that.
And also as well, on June 17th, you guys will actually be performing in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania at the Grape Room. I was wondering if you can actually tell us a bit more about this up-and-coming event. And of course, where can we actually snag ourselves some tickets so that way we can make sure we're in Philly that night to see you guys live in full effect?
Yeah, man, I can't wait to go back to Philly. We went there first in January, right, with the tour, and then
with Honey I'm Homeless and Cold Tides.
And Cold Tides, who we're playing with, who just released an amazing LP as well, actually.
Yeah, go check out Cold Tides. They're very good.
Very cool. And tickets, I think they're on Eventbrite. Like, we should actually get better at posting the links to that stuff so people can.
I don't know. Are they on Dice? I feel like they're on. I feel like they're on Dice somewhere.
I think they're on Event. I don't know.
Oh, they're on. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Don't know. Apologies.
But we will put the link up on our Instagram, and you can.
I'm sure
please come see.
Cold Tides might have it. You should go check out that band and then go see where they're playing next. Hopefully, the link will be there.
And tell them we said room. Exactly. Tell them we said we're sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, if it does help, I actually found that information actually on your guys' Bandcamp at the very bottom. So I'm sure if they go to your guys' Bandcamp and scroll to the bottom and click the link, they'll be able to find the information on the Grape Room.
Yeah, I think it's on our Spotify as well. I think if you go to our artist page, you can see all the stuff on there. But yeah, it's the first of the kind of several summer gigs we have planned, which should be good fun. We're sort of playing all over the East Coast, hopefully. So yeah.
And I gotta say, just being able to travel from New York to Philly to be able to perform definitely sounds like a surreal experience. So by the sounds of it, you guys already did it before, so it sounds like you guys are very familiar with what you guys are going to expect when you actually arrive at the Grape Room.
Yeah, well, maybe not the Grape Room in particular, but we went on a 6-date tour in January. We did the thing that no one really should do and went north instead of south during January. Yeah. So we did What did we do? We did Philly, Pittsburgh, Buffalo, which was amazing, by the way.
It is
the best city we've ever played. And then it was like Albany, Worcester, Boston, so like all the cold places we did. But we're really looking forward to going back to Philly, man. It's a great scene there, some awesome bands from that town, and we just love it down there. And like as you say, it's 2 hours away. It's easy to get to from New York, so it's gonna be cool.
And also, 4 days ago, I actually saw that you guys posted on Instagram that you were actually currently in the process of making brand new music. I was wondering if you can actually tell our listeners a bit more about what they can expect from this new Something Bitter music. And of course, what is the estimated release date of this current project?
So we've been sitting on these songs for a bit. We're recording them now with a couple of options on the table. They'll definitely, I mean, before the end of the year, they'll be out for sure. I mean, I can't imagine us sitting on it for that long. But I'm not quite sure if we have an arrangement we can or cannot talk about as to what's happening to those yet. But we do have a couple of tracks that will be hopefully. I mean, I'd love to see them out by end of summer, maybe fall, but we'll see what we can do to get them out definitely before the end of the year.
Russ always does this. Whenever we talk about songs that we're putting out, he says, well, we'll have it at some point in the future. I'm sitting here going, let's do it tomorrow. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Let's put it out now. Come on.
Well, we're in conversation with a couple of potential options for splits and for, what to do with it. If we end up just doing it ourselves, then we'll put it out, probably fairly quickly.
Yeah, that's it.
And I got to say, as a Something Bitter fan, I'm actually super stoked to just actually see that post and just kind of hear a little bit more information actually on this project. I know you guys can't let too many cats out of the bag, but when they do get released, best believe if you send them my way, we here at Punk World Radio will definitely spin them.
Well, thank you so much,
man. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, we're proud of these next two songs. It didn't feel right to not get them down as. With as much kind of energy as we're putting into them now, so we recorded a couple of those, and we're just excited to kind of lean into a particular direction as opposed to the last EP was us just kind of throwing anything out there. We're finding a common theme to keep leaning into, so we're excited to do more of it.
I think these are ones we've had in our set for a while. And then we've got a bunch of new stuff we're writing over the next couple of months as well. So, it depends whether we release these individually or whether we fold them into like a bigger release or something, in the future.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Well, we've got a lot in the can. We've got a lot more songs. I'm already ready to get started on. So,
yeah.
And I have to ask, what is next for yourselves as Something Bitter? Because obviously we spoke about the concert coming up next month, June 17th. We talked about your most recent projects and, of course, this new album that is actually currently in the works. But is there anything we actually missed during this evening's interview? Anything else you guys still want to talk about or promote? Well, we still got you here live on Punk World Radio FM this evening.
And I think for us, like that's pretty much it. We're putting the finishing touches on our summer plans right now. So we're hopefully playing a bunch there. Maybe potentially doing like another little tour later this year. Whether that's here or maybe overseas, we'll see. The only other thing I want to do is just give a shout out to all the amazing bands we play with all the time, man. Like Tide Radio, Oh the Humanity, Next Scars, Warn the Duke, just Jukebox Romantics. Like these bands are awesome in our scene. And they really make it a pleasure to be playing in New York and having a great time doing it.
Yeah.
And obviously, guys, I know how to follow you on social media, but for the individuals that actually aren't that social media savvy or might just be discovering you guys right now, how can they go about following you guys on social media, not just as a band, but individual members as well?
Go ahead, Jim.
I was gonna say, like, we're only good at Instagram. Everything else we kind of suck at, so that's probably the best way.
And I can't speak for any of us. I hardly touch any of that. It scares the hell out of me.
Yeah.
So, I'll stick to producer.
But yeah, no, feel free to. We're always tagged in our stuff. So if you want to follow us individually, then it's your funeral. But feel free that we're sort of on there.
At Something Bitter Band. That's our Instagram handle.
Something Bitter Jams.
Jeez. Something Bitter Jams. See?
Damn it, Russ.
I hardly touched any of it.
This is a big shot, and you blew it.
See? That'll tell you everything.
I absolutely don't blame you guys as well either. Like, I have to do promotion for the radio station. When it comes to Instagram, I'm great at it, but when it comes to like Facebook and TikTok, I'm just like, oh my god. Like, I don't even have a TikTok for the radio station. People say I should make it, but I can't get over just how dumb TikTok is, in my honest opinion. So I can't make one.
I mean,
Here's what you do.
it's
Here's what you do.
exhausting,
You set up the TikTok. You find one video, one 12-second video, and you post the same video every single day
different filter.
until your TikTok account gets removed for not playing ball or whatever.
And this is why Russ isn't allowed to manage our social media. No, I feel you, man. I think we all like universally loathe it, right? Like, it's just exhausting, social media the whole time. I even have a Twitter account, but luckily Alan, our guitarist, does like social media as part of his job. So I just said to him, okay, well, you can do this then. And
you take that.
Yeah, we'll focus on other stuff. More fun.
But I got to say, first and foremost, Jim and Russ, thank you so much for just giving us a bit of your time here this evening and sliding into the 99.9 Punk World Radio FM airwaves. It was such an honor to speak with both of you, and thank you so much for your time. And I'm definitely looking forward to this new project when it does drop. And of course, definitely safe travels on your guys' tour. I really hope that everything goes well for you. I know you guys don't need the luck, but when it comes to traveling, I hope you guys actually arrive safely and arrive back home safely as well.
My man, the honor was ours. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean,
you're most certainly welcome, guys. Definitely have yourself a phenomenal night, and of course, a kick-ass week as well. I'm pretty sure down the line, we definitely shall talk again soon.
100%.
Excellent. Looking forward to it.
Good night, man.